Check, check. Can you guys hear me all good? Flip it. All right, there we go. I think everything is working. What up, Berna? What up, Noka? Yeah, my laptop just did a weird thing. It wasn't, the power was plugged in but not charging, and it was about to die. And couldn't figure out how to get it to work except for restarting. Let's see. There we go. Okay, almost. There we go. How's everyone doing today? What up, Sparks? Was it Sparks who was gonna submit late? Or who was that? We got one last minute submission from Christopherson. We got a good turnout today for the Anything Goes. Let's see. Yeah, it wasn't the contacts though. I tried both my chargers and flipped them. Yeah, cleaned out the port. Nothing worked. When I restarted, it worked. So it was some sort of a software glitch. It seems like. But yeah, but we're good now. We're charging now. Nice, Sparks. Okay, sweet. Well, I will make sure to throw yours in as soon as it comes in. How's everyone doing today? We got Flipper Fun Anything Goes today. And then tomorrow we will do a masterclass again. Make sure that you get make sure that you get the your masterclass ideas in the Discord. Yeah, exactly, Noka. Yeah, just restart it. I actually restarted with intentions of doing an SMC reset because that was the old Mac way of fixing such issues, but apparently that doesn't exist anymore. I've never had to do it, I guess, since doing since getting a M1, but yeah, not a thing anymore. All right, Sparks, your video just came through. We're gonna get that rocking. We'll throw it in the mix here. Yes, Clint's always got the super high video quality. Very cinematic. We'll start with that, and then everyone else can feel bad about their video setup. Top Fuzz with the resub, 37 months. How you doing, Top Fuzz? No video today from you? Oh yeah, wait. I think I read in the Discord that you're busy. Mr. Gatsby, how you doing? Let's do a little sound check on Clint here. Can you guys hear that?
Give me a beat.
Yeah, I'll give it a bit more. Mr. Lizard. I don't see Lizard in the chat. Who are you talking to, Sparks? Oh no. Wait, I can't do it that way. Or wait, can I do it this way? Let me see if I can do it this way. Restream. One sec. I gotta get onto my own Twitch channel. And so I can start a poll. Flip or fun? Flip. Fun. Oh, and 08, yeah. Dang. One of my first mixers. All right. We got the Flipper Fun poll rocking. Let's see what Clint's got for us today.
Give me a beat. Give me a beat.
Whoa. Short and sweet. Only just over 30 seconds. What do you guys think? Get your votes in the poll. Flipper Fun. Oops. We're skipping around too quick. I'm just going to check here. Got it. Yeah, Clint had some questions about his video. Lizard's a big fan. We got 7 flips so far. That's pretty good.
Give me a beat. Give me a beat.
Nice. We got 9 flips, 0 flops. Okay. So the chat digs it. Let me see here. Okay. Clint had one question for me about his fills in the beginning.
Give me a beat.
Okay. Here's the issue, Clint. You're talking about those fills right there. I don't know if Clint's in the chat, but it's they're a little loose, and if you pay close attention to your hand positioning, let me see if I can. Oh man, is there a way of stepping through frame by frame in VLC? There we go. I caught it. This is one of the things I tell people watch out for when juggling and looping, especially at faster speeds. And basically, this is where E steps through. Oh, nice. Okay, let me see here. Oops. Okay. Bam. There we go. Oh, and then what steps back? What's previous frame? We have next frame. What's previous frame? There is no previous frame. Okay, good to know. Well, anyways, oops. There. We'll leave it there. So basically, the issue is the record hand is going the wrong way. Basically, it is going too far on this direction. So you can see that when he's releasing, his record hand is pointing in sort of the opposite direction. And let me just go. Yeah. Okay. Wait. I wish I could step back a frame. Let me go. Okay, this one I'll be able to catch. Bam, right there. So he's grabbing the record here and then pulling it back to like the opposite direction. But basically, yeah, the issue with the releases and stuff is that like with beat juggling and looping, you don't want to be pulling the record from your like home base position, basically. Like you're not trying to pull it from like 9 o'clock and then pull it back from there. That's like our tendency is to always grab the record around 9 o'clock, right? Because that's where you scratch it. But you want to do it the opposite way, where you want to pull it to 9 o'clock or as close as you can to 9 o'clock, so that you can add like scratching to it or whatever. But that's where your finish line is. So yeah, that's what I would say is the biggest issue. So basically, with the fills at the beginning here, Clint felt they were a little loose, which I agree, and he was wondering why. So that's the main issue. Yeah, like so he's having to do this hop from over here to here just to do like a release. So if you can imagine, even though it's just one release, but imagine doing stabs where every time you release and pull back the record, your hand has to hop to the opposite side of the record, right? Like instead of just pulling it back in one place, you're going to you're pushing the opposite side and then hopping over to pull it back. Like super hard, right? And yeah, just with the technique, with this little tiny technique pointer, he's sort of forcing himself to have to do that for that one movement, which adds a little bit of looseness. So
Give me a beat.
I like all this though. The transition into this was nice, and the little breakdown here. There's one pattern in here a little looser that I'd like to hear cleaned up. That one. And the second time especially. That one. It's like a I think it's like a 2-back transform type of thing. Yeah, and then the end was a little, you can hit every single one of those notes. Yeah, started to miss a couple at the very end, but overall composition's good. What else? It's pretty short, so I'd tell your camera person to center more on the mixer you're using and not like the RCAs that are being plugged in maybe, but yeah, the hyper drumming sounded pretty clean this time too. Yeah, good stuff. Good little routine. I like it. Just a little bit cleaner. All right. Now we got Mr. Frank 3000. Follow Frank on everything. Where is my chat to make this poll? Here we go. Bam. Let's go, Frank.
break.
There we go. What do you guys think? Went a little overtime on this one. What do you guys think? Flip or fun from Mr. Frank? We got 2 flips, 2 funs for Frank. Okay, so there's some good stuff in here, like the overall sort of composition, sample switching, flow is good. It's nice and clean for the most part too. Yeah, good stuff there. Newbie pointed out that the record hand technique. Yeah, there's something a little strange about that, which I would definitely watch out for. Frank's definitely using a lot of the sort of 12 to almost, the 12 to like 2-3 o'clock region, which is almost the opposite issue of what Clint was having, where Clint was sort of grabbing it too close to home base and then pulling it back to like 9 o'clock, whereas Frank is like grabbing it way, way too high, I would say. And yeah, there's a couple different techniques you can use. It depends on the context and the speed and stuff, but you can just backspin samples like the same as you would like a when you're juggling or looping. That's totally fine. And and you can also pull it back. Like I'd say your sort of like safe space for scratching is from 9 to like 6, or maybe 10 to 6, something around there is like pretty comfortable. So you don't have to like only pull it back to 9. Like you can go back to like 6 and still be pretty comfortable scratching. I'd say as long as your fingers are kind of pointing in the correct direction on the record. That's usually the line that I set, where like if you pull it back and your fingers are going the wrong way, then you're probably your technique is probably a little off and it's going to cause issues. But if you're still like in the correct direction, then you're probably fine for the most part. But yeah, watch out for that. Yeah, the vocal breakdown stuff is nice, switching the different syllables. Okay, the 2 clicks are definitely, they're undercooked right now. They're not quite ready. But one thing, this is just something that I kind of notice overall, that I think would be helpful. Basically, I think in just overall from this, I'd say I wouldn't even be doing 2 clicks if I were you yet. I think that like what I would like to see, basically with your stabs and your chirps and your transforms, like everything in this video, in this routine right now is single time. There's no triplets, there's no double time, there's no so you sort of like you're clean at the speeds that you're doing, but it's a very limited kind of range of those things. So I'd say like in general, instead of adding more techniques to your vocabulary, it's better to expand like your range and what you can do with the techniques that you have. And yeah, I basically would never like when I'm teaching people like from the ground up kind of thing and going through all different techniques, I'd basically never show someone two clicks until they showed me a little bit like higher comfort and mastery of some more foundational stuff. So that's what I'd say here is that I'd probably like the two clicks aren't ready, but it's not. I don't think it's because like the two clicks need more practice. I think it's that the other stuff you should spend more time and try and get more expressive and more powerful with that. Like I'd like to see some really like clean, funky, fast chirps and stabs. Would be a good next step before getting into like two clicks, and like the one clicks are sounding all right now. So those are fine, but that's probably as advanced as I'd go until you get a little deeper with the fundamentals.
Down like this. Break.
And then here's another one. The this one for the vocal samples was a little bit like vocal samples you can release a little bit more, and you're usually trying to let the actual vocal play close to how it's intended, sort of thing. Like you want to hear the words, and there's a lot of times it's beat match too, so you're leaning on releasing a bit more. But when it gets to the off sample, you're still releasing a lot. So I'd say in general, keeping your hand on the record and doing more pitch control and that kind of thing would be good. Yeah, there's just too much releasing in general. Like all these forwards, I'd say like I've talked about different pitch options and things like that before, but in general, like when you're pitching and you're pushing like a sample forward or reverse, you've probably got like I'd say at minimum you've got probably 6 different pitches or something. Like you have your push, your low pitch push, your sort of medium push, your fast push, your high pitch push. Then you have like a low reverse and a high reverse, and then you have a release. That's your minimum, I'd say, is like you have six different kind of pitches or options, and yeah, your release one should be roughly being used like the same amount as all those other ones. It shouldn't be like the dominant pitch option or the dominant like forward movement kind of thing. If it is, it's usually a sign that it's just comfortable, and a lot of people when they're beginning just release the record too much. But yeah, try to just like anytime that you would normally release or that tendency to release, especially with an awe sample where there's no tempo baked into the sample, try to experiment more with like pushing, dragging, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. There we go. All right, good stuff, Frank. Yeah, there's lots of good good techniques, good flow, good rhythm, but yeah, I think you can push my biggest thing there, I'd say, is like trying to push those fundamentals further. Like I'd like to hear like you can do chirps and you can do stabs, like definitely, but I'd like to hear them more just more stuff to them, more mastery over those, more speed, more rhythms, more funkiness, and then add in more techniques after that. Yeah, I think this is just a very common thing for people learning as a whole. It's so attractive to just learn more and more techniques, but you should always think about is the Bruce Lee quote? I think it's like I don't fear the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times, or something like that. But that applies for scratching a lot. Like basically, like everyone who I've heard who improved really, really quickly or sounded really good in a very short amount of time, it's usually people who just like learned like 2 or 3 scratches, but then just got really, really deep with them. And then once you learn new techniques and add more techniques and stuff, you sort of have a stronger foundation to build off of. All right, we got the lizard man. Flip or fun? Poll is going. Lizard is scratching.
I became
All right. What do you guys think? This is an assault. What do you guys think? Flip or fun for the lizard with the audio assault?
I became
Let me see. We got 4 flips so far, 3 funs. It's a divisive routine. Almost 50-50. Get your votes in. Newbie says can't do that twice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it was the most planned out routine. Seems a little off the cuff. We got 50-50 flip and fun for the lizard.
I became
Okay, 1 second.
I became
Okay, so right off the bat, you drop that record off beat, so don't do that. This okay, I'm going to mention this because this has been coming up lately in your routines. This throwing the record forward with the beat in the juggle, who taught you that? That maneuver, who taught you that? I didn't teach you that. But yeah, don't do that ever again. Maybe not ever again, but like for a while. Basically, it's just like there's push patterns. You can do push patterns, but the throwing the record forward it sounds like it just sounds offbeat. There's no I don't it doesn't sound clean, and it's too hard to control. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that's not on beat here. That's on beat. But then that weird sound comes in. And the forward push again. Don't do the throw. No, that's banned. The throw is banned, Lizard. The throw is banned from future entries. Yeah, this one is a little too crazy for my tastes. There's some moments in it, like the part with the cue and the trick mixing. But again, slower beats, no throws would be good. Rein it in, dial it in, be more zen. Yeah, I think there was a time not too long ago when you're posting when you're doing some of the tap patterns and starting to get. I remember there's a juggle where um where I said you're starting to get patterns that made sense and were coherent. That is the right direction for progress. This one is a little bit too crazy. Not gonna do slower beats. I mean, you don't have to, I guess, but that's my feedback. You don't have to listen to my feedback, I suppose. First a twiddle, now you can't throw. How are we able to be creative? I know I'm banning all the good techniques. But yeah, no twiddles. Well, you can do twiddles, but you can also just live with being a sad person. And then no record throws. Yeah, push patterns are okay, but record throwing has to be on beat. If you can do it on beat and make it musical, then you can do it, but I haven't seen it so far. There's one twiddle situation that's valid. Yeah, if your like wrist is paralyzed and like what else? You're born without any muscles in your body, and I don't know. Like I guess there's some situations where twiddling's valid, but oh, speaking of twiddlers, we got Lo-File. The defender of all things twiddle. The defender, maybe the offender, because most twiddlers are offenders. They offend my senses for sure. Let's get the flipper flop poll going.
Bro, you know what, G? I can't even lie still. Lo-File makes some hard tunes. Bruh, this is crazy.
That's this producer named Lo-File.
Lo-File. Nigga, you are hard.
Coming before that boy, your
Dang, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Flip or flop from the from number one Twiddle fan? Yeah, I like this. I like how this was more of a routine. I don't think I've seen a Lo-File routine thus far. More just like freestyles. This will come in handy for regular season flip or flop.
Bro, you know what, G? I can't even lie still. Lo-File makes some hard tunes.
I like that 33 like 45 switch type of thing here. That sounded really cool. 10 flips, 100% flips, dang.
Bruh, this is crazy.
That's this producer named Lo-Fi.
Low file. Nigga, you are hard.
Coming.
That's a cool transition sample. Yeah, kind of broke up the flow a little bit much. If it was like a DMC routine or something, that'd be my critique. But it is a cool sample though.
You are hard.
Coming. Coming. With what the boy your
Yeah, no, that was yeah, everything sounded dope here. I like the structure, like sample changes and stuff. Yeah, I'd say like if I'm being picky, if I'm being extra picky, I'd say like I'd like a bit more just overall like structure that ties together. Like it was sort of too many routines, and the second routine was sort of like the first half of it was my favorite. I think the second half was fine, but it was a lot more like just normal, like a yeah, like the coming for your ass and the awe sample is like pretty straightforward. The first half of it was a little more creative and stuff. Yeah. Something to so like I guess something from a routine perspective that could make stuff a little next level would be firstly trying to tie it like all together, kind of tell a story and kind of build to more of a climactic type of ending. So that's not two separate things, or like, you're not just sort of switching gears as it's building up a little bit. And then the other thing would be trying to have sort of like transitions between the samples, and that's the one thing that with this from a routine perspective, this is stuff that when you're freestyling it sort of doesn't matter, but from routines, like when you're switching samples, it sort of sound like you're scratching this sample and then you just switch and scratch a new sample, switch, scratch a new sample, and there's not really a lot of like flow between the samples sometimes. Like a couple, well, one thing is that I see that you're hot queuing each sample. That is usually one of the issues, like with hot queuing every sample, is that it's hard to make it like flow from sample to sample. So that's one thing. Making sure that you can kind of jump between samples, go back and forth a little bit would be nice. And yeah, and sometimes putting in samples that are more transition samples, not pure scratch samples. Like when he goes, like you had a nice intro and then scratch sample, scratch sample, scratch sample, but that scratch sample was kind of a transition. But you can have sort of just like, transition type of samples between the parts that you scratch too. Yeah. So little sort of tricks to make the sample transitions flow a little bit better and be a little bit more cohesive and stuff. But yeah, but overall I like it a lot. I'm being pretty picky, so yeah. But my favorite part is still like that part. Duh, duh. It's like in key and stuff, I suppose. It yeah, sounded nice. And is sort of a weird sample. I always like when someone scratches a sample that I would like never choose to scratch probably, but then makes it sound cool. There we go. Oh, now we have, just a second. I'll have to look up because I don't recognize the setup. This is someone. We got someone out of Australia here. We'll get a poll for someone. But yeah, thank you for your submission. Low file, good stuff. Yeah, probably my favorite submission from you. Now we got someone without the direct audio. We'll let it slide for the first entry. All right. What do you guys think? Flip or fun? Yeah. My main beef here. So, the first thing you gotta get the audio sorted out. In the days of modern mixers and digital mixers, you can definitely like record the audio and then just line it up with a video later. That's the classic way of doing it. If you don't have like a setup that you can record the video and audio at the same time. So yeah, just line it up in like iMovie or whatever you need. Yeah, so that'd be my main thing. The other thing, the video too is is pretty like low quality. I don't know what you're filming on. There's got to be a way of it just looks like it's really compressed more than anything. Like it looks like super low resolution. If that's like the best option that you have, then so be it. But my hunch is that it's like it was compressed somehow or something, or sometimes it's the lighting. It looks like there's decent amount of lighting, but yeah. I'd like an overall, even though this isn't what we're judging, I'd like a better presentation. You need direct audio though, because I can't even hear certain details of it to give you feedback. There's some stuff that I sort of am guessing by what I see, but I can't truly hear the details to know if it's good feedback or not. But yeah, like everything setup wise, this seems all right. And then getting into a breakdown. Yeah, this is a first time entry. Yeah, the audio is just so muffled. I can't quite. I think that there's different notes even hitting over here, and it's more melodic than what I can hear. Yeah, the feedback that I'm not sure is accurate or not, but it seems like your tapping and stuff is doing little pullbacks a lot rather than clean taps. But again, I can't even hear it clear enough to know. But it looks a little loose on that side. But overall, like if the audio is better and the presentation was a little better, I think this is a pretty strong juggle. Like the chat gave it a bunch of funds because yeah, probably because of the presentation, but honestly it seems like quite a strong juggle. Like Like it's got like a a solid intro, good setup patterns. I can tell that there's variation in the setup patterns, and then the breakdown has multiple parts. Like it has a full composition and tells a story, and that already puts you like quite a bit ahead of a lot of beat jugglers in general. Like, yeah, most beat jugglers, in my experience, most people who try to beat juggle never get to the point where they can make like what I would call like a real juggle, like a full, like just one complete juggle composition. Like nobody gets to that point. Not nobody, but like, 10-20% of people. Most people like get like, they learn techniques and stuff, but it's really tough for people to actually make a juggle composition. You've got the techniques and the juggle composition, so that's good. Yeah. So my main critique is, honestly, get the direct audio. Try to get the video, like at the very least, get a little closer. Like I don't know even what we're looking at. It looks like you're set up on a bed or something like that. Maybe that is the case, but we can get closer, maybe a little bit better. Maybe like just clean off the lens of the camera or something. Maybe I'm not sure, but yeah, there's got to be ways of maybe turn it horizontal instead of vertical would be a good call too. There's got to be ways we can get a better quality video in 2025. But even if the video this is it, we gotta get the audio. The audio, you can do that. I can't even tell what mixer is it. Is this a Z2? I'm guessing it's a Z2 because it has like purplish looking lights. But that's how lo-fi the video is. I can't even make out what mixer I have to like deduce what mixer it is by the color of these little pixels in the middle. But I'm guessing it's a Z2. But it's presumably a digital mixer that you can record the direct audio with it. Because basically any mixer in the last like 15 years probably can, like everything since the 57 pretty much can record audio just like directly through Serato or Tractor. So get that direct audio, line it up to the video, and submit again. Because it is a solid routine. I can tell it's solid, but I would like to be able to hear it fully to confirm that it's definitely solid. Yeah. And that'll be good practice for the regular season flipper flop. Because if you can juggle like that, you can definitely win some flipper flop juggle weeks. There's usually I have like a 95% flop rate on juggle weeks, so you can definitely take some juggle weeks. But direct audio or indirect audio is an auto flop, as we know from previous seasons. There's no indirect audio in regular season. For flipper fun, we'll let it slide because it's we want to give people the chance to improve their setup for the regular season. Yes, we got the skinny, weird, cool mixer from Mr. Christopherson. There we go. What do you guys think? Flipper fun from the Christopherson. It's super garbage because you're angry. This is the angry juggle. You gotta put your emotions into the art. You should pick like, if you're angry, you should pick like some death metal or something. This one sounded a little bit too chill for an angry routine. Yeah, that doesn't sound like anger to me, but sample selection. One deck is failing. Oh no. How's it failing? It looks like it's all rusted here. Did you leave it out in the rain? Is that why? It looks like it's all rusty in this tone arm. So this is all good for an intro. These patterns still sound more like intro patterns. Yeah, the trick mixing is nice. I like how you're using different parts of the beat. This one sounds a little weaker. Yeah. Your left hand be faster on the fader, like snappier. Should like instantly go back and forth. That's why you're getting a little looseness on this side. But these basically, from the patterns you have here, I would move these patterns to the beginning. These patterns are like basically trick mixing intro patterns, but these ones are a little spicier than what you started with. Right here, this part where, so everything up until now pretty much was starting on the 1. This is where you started looping it in a different place, which I like. And this is where a breakdown should start in a juggle. Yeah, boom, 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 boom. That you can start breaking it down right there. If I had this track, I'd demonstrate it. But yeah, so basically, what I'd say is you got some decent trick mixing and sort of an intro for what would be like a juggle routine, and that ending section was almost like a transition into like a setup or a breakdown. But yeah, so far everything in this is sort of the intro or the beginning of the routine. And yeah, so the next step would be, I guess like the next step overall would be working on some breakdown patterns, like some tapping and chasing, and then trying to get into that essentially from here. Yeah, trick mixing wise, pretty solid. But yeah, again, like I said, move the spicier patterns to the beginning. The beginning patterns, like this kind of stuff is like, so it depends a little bit on your goals and what you're trying to do. But like this type of stuff, like where you're looping on the 1, is like I can't stand it in like a routine or a battle. To me, it sounds like 1992 when people loop on the 1. It's just like there's no reason to loop on the 1 in like 2025 if you're like trying to make like a juggle routine. But if you're trying to just like trick mix, like say you're doing like party rocking or a 45 set or something, and you're like extending things, then this is totally fine. So it depends on the context. It's like if you're trying to do like a trick mixing, like kind of just like subtle spice type of thing. But yeah, it's so it depends on context. But in general, I think like doing like just looping trick mixing stuff, the only time that I would probably do it or be okay with it is in like a DJ like mix set type of thing, where people are just doing watered down battle stuff anyways. So then you can do it there. But then if you're like, if you're making a routine, you want to push it further. You want to get a little more creative with it. Dropping this is my thing with beat juggling and such is always if you're dropping the one of the beat on the one of your beat juggle, you're just sort of like taking the long road to just recreating the original beat, you know? You're just sort of like it's like if you like took a beat and you're like, I'm gonna flip into something new, and then you just played the same beat again. It's not like the strongest flip. So yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. There's a little bit of context, a little bit of me being a gatekeeper, but yeah, the end part of it, like I said, when you started doing like the extra note on here that wasn't on the one and the snare on the other side, or the snare on both sides, that's when it's like, okay, this is like starting to like spice it up a little bit more. And then even though it's just a loop, like this part started to sound like that's the part I want you to flip in a beat juggle, where it's like it's I don't know the original track, but I can tell that you're not looping it right on the one anymore, and that's one of my pieces of feedback for people is like, if you're trying to elaborate on a track and make a juggle with it, one of the first things you want to try to find is just a cool loop that doesn't sound quite like the original track. And my best reference always is Theme from SWAT. By Mr. Sinister. Like Mr. Sinister in that Theme from SWAT juggle, he starts with like doing some body tricks and stuff, but then he finds this loop that's like a couple bars into the track or into the break, and just when he starts looping that part of it, you're like, oh yeah, like something's about to happen, you know? And that's always a good sign. If you can find like a part where before you even started like flipping it, it already sounds kind of dope, then you got something. And that's this part at the end you started getting that kind of stuff. Nice. Yeah, how was it? Sinister is like one of my favorites. He has so many good juggles, man. He has so many good juggles. I need to go back and binge watch Sinister routines, because I know there's some that there's this video that I haven't seen it in a while. I'd have to find it again. But basically he did a routine in like the early 2000s, and he basically like he was it yeah he is in the early 2000s, and he did a lot of like newer juggles and like beats that weren't like his super classic ones, but still flipped them like super crazy. Yeah, I need to find it again. But it's like what was in it? I know one of the juggles in it, which he's done a few times, but he juggled How High, Method Man, Redman, How High Part 2 maybe, one of those. But then he juggled some other stuff that was like a little more recent. But yeah, he has so many good juggles. Even his classic stuff, his like late 90s stuff, his early 2000s stuff. He just, it's got the funk. All right. Now we got Sparks. Sparks in the house. That is an Eckler, yes. Let's get a poll going for Sparks. Flip, fun, bam. There we go. Short and sweet again. Just over 30 seconds. What do you guys think? Flipper fun from the Sparkman. Sparkman, wasn't that like a Mega Man boss? Let me look it up. I think it was Sparkman. Sparkman. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Mega Man 3. I knew it. He's a big jerk. What do you guys think? Flipper fun. Yeah. Nice chirps. Yeah. Keep getting your votes in the poll. I would say, okay, one thing right away that I noticed, even at this point, too many releases. Again, this is something I'm very picky on. It just goes with my sort of philosophy of scratching in general is like basically when you release the sample in general, like releasing is it sounds the same for everyone, right? Every single person who releases the AW sample on Earth sounds the same. So if you're trying to like inject your own individuality and personality into it, it comes from your record control, not from your releasing. Everybody who has like a really distinct style of scratching is basically it derives from the record control and putting that in. So definitely make sure as much as you can when there's the opportunity to put your own style and own flavor into it, that you do that. And so instead of usually like how I think of it is like instead of releasing by default, try to only release when you like definitely like that's the intention. Like I want to release the sample. Like there's definitely times to release it, but it's try to make it more of like a embellishment and like a punctuation and not like the main choice. There's one thing that's going a little wonky here. So your tears, but also there's some digital stuff going on there. So I think those were tears, right? So the tears are an issue. Make sure, do you have key lock on? Make sure you don't have key lock on, just in case. Yeah, again, the tears. So the tears sound a little loose there, but also there's there's digital artifact happening. Like it's hard to describe. Usually I associate it with key lock, but sometimes it could be the needle skipping. But yeah, I can hear like little pitch jumps in the sound on those that are not like natural. They're not, you can't, they don't happen normally when you're scratching. It's either it's something to do with Serato tracking. Usually it's key lock though, because how I hear it is there's little steps in the pitch of the audio that sounds like basically bad auto tune. So it might be your technique. If there's not key lock on, then it could be your technique and could be slightly skipping the needle, which also causes a similar kind of thing. But watch out for that. There again. Yeah, key lock is on. Okay. So basically, yeah. And I've got my ear for key lock is pretty dialed in. That's why was my first hunch, because I've taught so many people at this point, and I always, whenever it's like when there's something that I'm hearing that is just doesn't really like make sense for, like you wouldn't be able to do that pitching or whatever with your hand, usually it's because key lock or like some sort of Serato thing. But yeah, key lock always off when you're practicing. There's a variety of reasons, but not only does it sort of like try to like auto tune your tears in a really gnarly, annoying way, it also kind of smooths over your pitching. So like when you're doing more subtle pitching, like, like say you're pushing the record up like 10% faster than it normally would be, Serato is just going to make it like this, the exact normal pitch. And then when you go down a little bit, like 10% slower. So all these like subtle pitch inflections that are so important to sounding good and musical are just going to be completely erased by your key lock. The chirps are sounding nice. Yeah, yeah, chirps and flow are good. That's what I'd say. So clean up those tears that I think were tears, but also turn off the key lock. That might just help them already. Keep the chirps going. Those are sounding really good. Those are your strongest one. Maybe mixing in some more one-click flares. Usually I try to kind of push people if they're already strong or doing good at a certain thing. I try and push them to stuff that's like kind of related. So one-click flares they'll complement all your chirps with chirp flares and stuff. So definitely get one-click flares rocking. Yeah, some faster stabs. If your chirps are that fast, then you can probably get some stabs that are fast as well. But yeah, and don't release as much. Did I say that already? But yeah, those are my feedback things. But overall, it's good. Good flow. Yeah, nice stuff. Oh, we're back again to Clint. All right, we wrapped back around. Let me just do a little quick. So we have Clint, low file, Christopherson. Okay, I'm gonna remove a few today. Okay, someone. We got to take you out just because the audio quality. So I'll say you would definitely still be in for this final, like week, the champ of the week if you had direct audio, because I think that was a fairly strong juggle. So that's how important it is to get direct audio. So someone's gone. Lizard was too wild. Frank, solid progress, but we're letting you go. Christopherson, good intro start, but we're letting you go. Now we got three videos that are all different. So this is the hardest thing to judge, and probably this is why there should be more rules in battles, because it's hard to judge this stuff. So we have Clint with like a drum scratch routine. We have Low File with like a scratch routine, and then Sparks with just a straight up freestyle. Let's give them another watch and then vote on who you think is this week's champ.
Give me a beat. Give me a beat.
Bam. Now we have Low File.
Bro, you know what, G? I can't even lie still. Low file makes some hard tunes, Bruh, this is crazy.
That's this producer named Lo-Fi.
Low file. Nigga, you are hard.
Coming with what the boy your
There we go. And then, last but not least, Sparkman. There we go. Sparks keeping it short and sweet. Who do you guys think is this week's champ? Wow, we're not good enough to get for Low File to set up his good camera. We get only his bad camera, he says in chat. He said we're too peasant-y to dust off his real camera. That's his words in chat right now. All right, we got Clint with the Hollywood shoot drum scratch routine. Low File with the 2-part scratch routine, and Sparks with the freestyle. Who do you guys think? Who do you guys think scooped this week's title? The Cinecam. Yeah, everybody, this next season, I expect everyone to have a red camera, minimum 4K. Yeah, we're kicking up the production value. None of this 1080p garbage. Phone cameras, no way. We have 1 minute. Get your votes in. Who do you think? If you're on YouTube, just type in the chat. I'm reading the chat right now. Or you can go to Twitch and actually use the poll. Yeah, well, Lizard, I want people who are serious, okay? And if you're not willing to get a $5,000 camera for Flipper Flop, then what are you even doing here? We know that's what real DJing is. Is the one of the main elements of turntablism. Scratching, juggling, videography. All right. We got the chat is going for Mr. Clint with 50%, and then we got 25% for Low File, 25% for Sparks. This one's kind of close. I'm going to take our man Sparks off, even though that's a good entry. I feel like it's between Clint and Low File. Really tough one to judge because it's so different. Let me take it in one more time.
Give me a beat. Give me a beat.
The end got a little crazy, but that's a pretty solid routine, just like the overall layout of it. Hey, there we go.
Bro, you know what, G? I can't even lie still. Low File makes some hard tunes.
I like that.
Bruh, this is crazy. Low file.
Bruh, this is crazy.
That's this producer named Lo-Fi.
Low file. Nigga, you are hard.
Coming with what the boy your
Oh man, they're both good videos. It's very hard to judge the two very different routines. This is a tough one. This is real tough. I like both. Yeah. Let's do one more mini poll. I need help. Clint. Oops. Who's the champ? Clint. Low file. 1 minute. Get your votes in. Now that we got to see where the people who voted for Sparks, we got to see where their votes go. A flag on the play. Get your votes in. We got way less votes than the last poll. What's going on here? Low file? Clint.
give me a beat.
Low file?
Bro, you know what, G? I can't even lie.
Clint. Whoa. It looks like the... I don't know what... do you guys even know what you're doing when you're voting in the poll? Somehow, from... like, we haven't even played the videos again. Like... But somehow the votes went from Clint to low file. Like not just Sparks votes, but Sparks and people jump ship from Clint. Like after watching the video again, and then YouTube, there's no votes. Nobody's voting on YouTube. I'm reading the chat. Any YouTube votes? You can vote by putting it. You guys just click random buttons in the poll. So people watched Clint's video and watched Low File's video, and then we're like, okay, I think Clint is the best. And then I took Sparks out, and then in that time, you guys were like, well, actually, I changed my mind. What is happening?
Me a beat.
Joe Mama, thank you for the sub. Obviously, I can't trust the chat. I never have trusted them, but this is just even more reason not to trust the chat. Because the chat's just random.
Give me a beat.
The chat's... This is the dead internet theory. The chat's not even real. All you guys are AI bots at this point. Actually, this video looks a little suspicious too. A little too high quality.
Bro, you know what, G? I can't even lie still. Low file makes some hard tunes,
What?
Bruh, this is crazy.
Unless it's produced.
Okay. I think I got it. This one's really close though. It's a style clash. Different, two completely different routines. One's a time thief, and one's like a time. I don't even know the opposite of a thief, but Clint, like, it's 60 seconds max, and Lo-Fi went 8 seconds over, and then Clint went 26 seconds under. I don't even know what the. I don't know. I'm not going to factor that into my judging, but they kind of shared the time limit with each other, I guess. Clint gave Lo-Fi some of his time. For this week, the champ getting no prizes at all, but all the bragging rights. It's really close, but following some of my tenets of what I think make a good routine, I'm judging these as routines because Lo-Fi's was definitely like leaning more towards the routine end of the spectrum. And Clint's was 100% a routine. I'm giving it to Mr. Clint this week. I think Clint's, even though it's like short, was just sort of fleshed out and very tight overall composition, where it built nicely to the end. It wasn't quite as clean as Lo-Fi's, but Lo-Fi's, one of the things that is always important to me is having like a clear sort of composition where it builds nicely and stuff. And I think after watching Lo-Fi's multiple times, even from the first time, but watching it again and again, my favorite part was the beginning, that like funny sample with the 3345 switch, and then like as I said from the beginning, sort of my least favorite part compositionally and routine wise was the end of it, where he reverted to some more like sort of standard typical scratch samples. And yeah, it sort of got like, it started off the most creative and went more normal towards the end, which is the opposite of how I'd like it to be composed. Or not the opposite. I would rather it just like start where it did and then just get more and more creative. So yeah, I think because of that, I'm leaning towards Clint on the composition routine side of it. And yeah, even though Clint's was there's a couple loose spots, it did have like a nice build where, started off with like an intro, started with some slightly more standard drumming, but still pretty technical right from the intro drumming, and then it got like more technical and built towards that hyper drumming. The hyper drumming was sounding even cleaner than I've heard before, and then he had like a little outro drum fill, so it was all like, yeah, every single bar and beat in Clint's sort of flowed in the same direction, and that's always what I like to hear. But as I said, that's one of my favorite, or maybe my favorite submission from Lo-Fi. I think that's definitely going in the right direction. I'd like to hear some more routines from Lo-Fi. I think there's something there. So yeah. Anyways, what's next? Masterclass tomorrow. We're gonna raid somebody. Who should we raid right now? Masterclass tomorrow. Get some ideas in the Discord. I'm gonna post the Discord right now. We need masterclass ideas. There's been a shortage lately. No flipper fun next weekend again. And then I think there's masterclass, and then I think we get sort of back to a couple weeks of flipper fun in a row again. Yeah, but as you guys know, as I've said, yeah, I've got some gigs and such coming up. I just did a master class at a university on Friday. And then I think I'm going to be in Christopherson's neck of the woods I believe he moved to that area in about a month. But yeah, I've got another gig in a week or so, and yeah, so traveling and such. Nice. Are you close to that, Christopherson? I believe I've got to double check, but I believe I'm only doing like routines. Like I'm only doing like a 20 minutes of routines that for that show. And yeah, I don't think I think the other fellows are mixing, and they're all good DJs too, so it'll be a fun night. All good DJs. 2 out of 3 are dope scratchers too. So maybe we'll do some other just like scratching together. But yeah, I know Frank Murderface is really dope scratcher, and EMC is really nice too. I don't know if he like really posts anything, but basically like I met him just on tour, and I just played or I did like a workshop and played a show in Madison, and he was just scratching at like their like DJ equipment store, and he was dope. Like he's definitely like, yeah, really good. Let's see here. Okay, I got someone to raid. I'm gonna put the raid in. But yeah, it should be a fun one. So hopefully see you there, Mr. Christopherson, and yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Masterclass. Get the ideas in, or else we're gonna learn. I don't know. I'll just rant about twiddles for like an hour straight until everyone leaves. Nobody wants that. Not willingly, at least. It'll happen whether you want it or not, but I'd rather talk about other stuff too. Say what up to Hey Riggs, jump into the raid. Looks like he's spinning some 45s or something. Congrats again to Mr. Clint. Taking the dub. Classic Clint dub. Oh, we got, what is this? We did get a masterclass idea. What is this technique? Oh, that's the yeah, Death Switch posted the 8-note Autobahn Raffic combo. The auto flare. I don't know what an auto flare is. That sounds like a made up technique, but I'll figure it out. Post a link to the auto flare and we'll figure it out. Catch you guys tomorrow.